Overlord timing. But it's really not that simple. In fact, the last game we saw him play Beastmaster, I can't even remember if he got to the Helm of the Overlord.
Yeah, I think it was his first Beastmaster game that we saw in day one that looked really hot, and then the other times we tune into nouns, it wasn't the hottest times for good old Gunner. I
love this music.
It is pretty, you know, it's a good vibe. It is groovy. It is groovy. You know, we're not getting the. It still kind of has a late night vibe, doesn't it? You know.
Oh, it is DreamLeague, John, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you're just breaking all the fourth walls today, huh? No walls for you, John X5.
No walls for me, Mikey. I've got glass walls around me right now.
Where are you? Who put you in
I'm not at home. I'm somewhere very different, Michael Phoenix, and I'm in a different city. It's nice. You know, it's a nice place, very historic. Maybe someday I'll actually go out and see the history. For now, you know, bigger matters. Dota2, a smoke on.
BetBoom could be history if they run up that hill. They won't. They'll wrap it around, but one smoke was already broken on save, and it seems like nouns want to force a fight. Fly's going to try to move in for a nice cogs attempt, I think, on save. Oh, the slow is going to be there on Fly. He's still trying to keep up. He never really threw the blood grenade out, though, on the clockwork, so it looks like he just wasn't confident they'd be able to catch anyway. That's fine. No first blood to come. It was a 3-for-1 trade on bounties, though, which is not exactly great news when you're up against Snell.
No, not going to feel great for the side of nouns. You're going to be very happy on the side of BetBoom. And, of course, we're going to start out staring at that mid. This is probably the matchup, I'd say, that has the most impact into who gets to hit that timing, right? You talked about the early threat of nouns, connecting with Gunner's Beastmaster. Outside of just the Beastmaster having a good lane, you kind of need to have Copy have a good lane. You need to have Copy try to manage this Invoker. You need this Invoker for Kiyotaka not to have the room to, say, get a fast level 5 or 6, start to look for some rotations down, you know, get levels in his orbs, start to get that utility pumping up a little bit faster. And again, we've seen Void Spirits actually play this lane up against Invoker quite nicely. It was Han in playing the Invoker yesterday. He had a good game 1 up against Void Spirit. Game 2 was rougher. I'm curious to see if Copy also knows the ins and outs of this matchup. So far, not looking too bad here for Kiyotaka, but we'll see. I mean, it's still the first 2 waves. It's not looking too good in the first 2 levels overall for Copy, but that's somewhat to be expected, at least for level 1 to 2.
Yeah, I mean, Copy definitely wants to have at least a CS advantage, though, and Kiyotaka is just kind of bodying him right now. Not the greatest of starts here for the Void Spirit. Of course, bottom lane, you're going to see Fly along with Yuma. The up against Save and Miero. It seems like you can get aggressive on either side here down to this bottom lane. Like, Fly hasn't gone for level 1 cogs anyway, so it's a bit of a slower start, but I suppose as long as Yuma's farming, they're going to be pretty happy. If anything, I could see BetBoom being the ones that try to get aggressive, especially once Miero has a couple levels in that Scorched Earth and can start to dive the tier 1 tower. We'll see once he maybe hits level 3, but you know, just a Bramble set up into the Scorched Earth, and Yuma can melt pretty damn quick.
And he can. And again, if you get a nice little creep for yourself here on Miero once you've got the Devour up, some good potential to punish, although.
I'll tell you what, John, I love playing Clockwork into Dark Willow, because once you cogs her, there's just nothing she can do. It's the greatest feeling, taking that damn stupid hero out every time. I love it.
That it is. Yeah, you really hate the Fairy, don't you, Mikey?
I do hate it. I do.
Yeah, you've expressed this multiple times, and, well, it's understandable. I share the same sentiment for Hoodwink. Even though I like to play Hoodwink, I hate playing against Hoodwink. No, I can understand.
No, she's a queen, John. No, she's a queen. Don't you talk about my Hoodwink like that.
Hoodwink is a pain in the ass. What do you mean?
Well, she is, John, but, you know.
She is absolutely painful. I enjoy killing her off.
You watch your damn language.
You gotta do what you gotta do. You know, it's, if you enjoy cogging up a Dark Willow, I enjoy cogging up Hoodwink. That's just the way it is. I understand that sentiment.
I'm just gonna interrupt you. Top lane, pure sniping the tier 1 tower. They're listening, Gunner. They're okay. Pure and Kataomi, though, trying to get a little bit aggressive. Gunner's having a decent time, though. And again, we talked about the Beastmaster and the fact that he does want to get off to a pretty good start to get that quick Helm with the Overlord timing that you do want to see on these Beastmasters. Unless he does go the Ags route, we will have to wait and see. But I could still see him happily just going for the Dominator.
Yep. I'd say it's open enough. He does have beast mode. So again, I like this adjustment from Gunnar. He understands there's quite a fair bit of clear. You're playing up against an alchemist. These summons can just be eaten for free gold. Why not just go back for Inner Beast, get the extra damage going? That tends to be for your aura buildup plus Ags. Offensively, you go Ags Rush plus, I guess, Dagon and the Blink and the BKB and somewhere down the line. I'm curious what the build order will be for Gunnar if that Ags is the priority. For now, not quite, just waiting for the Arcanes, of course. And a very steady start for the side of Nouns. You are getting a little bit more out still for Kiyotaka on the Invoker, but not by a huge margin. You know, your copy is somewhat keeping up in that lane, and every other lane is somewhat even outside of Miero's lane. Slightly slower for a Doom, but Doom can recover. I am just surprised, like you were mentioning, you know, this aggressive potential for Doom Dark Willow is there. I think the hard factor is just piercing through a Clockwork, right? Like, you want to go for the Dusa, she's extra soft. Clockwork with Cog's Battery Assault kind of blocking off that rundown makes it feel impossible. And you can't really easily kill off a Clockwork either to punish there. Just a naturally tanky hero. A great body to kind of interrupt that pacing.
Absolutely. Only 1-0 so far. Not too many kills happening as of yet. The lanes are going very well for BetBoom. Pure top of the CS board, which is exactly what you want to see as an Alchemist. Kiyotaka right behind him. I guess the one lane that's going a little bit slow for BetBoom thus far is Miero's lane on the Doom, but it's still Doom. He's going to have Devour. He'll be perfectly fine to keep up and catch up, I'm sure. Yuma's doing pretty damn well on the Medusa as well. Really uncontested so far. And that's also what you want to see if you're Nouns, though he has been left alone now because Fly is rotating top lane through the Twin Gate. Because they want to see if they can catch Pure on this Alchemist. Fly's going to move in looking for a Cogs, but Pure, I believe, have spotted him. They seem to know he's in the tree line perhaps somewhere. And now Kataomi, seeing Fly, will ensure that Fly can't really get the jump, so Fly's just going to leave.
Yep. Really nice wards being dropped there by the side of BetBoom. And again, we've seen a couple of teams start to adjust to this. Like these early wards protecting right behind the tier 1 or right by the gate to watch these rotations. It has played a big part in slowing down the tempo from the opposing side, just securing your own safe lane farm overall. And it's always very nice to see when teams start to adapt to that, because maybe like 2 months ago, much less common, these rotations would lead into consistent kills. Nowadays, not quite the case, and even the sentry placement there from Fly just doesn't even catch that ward. Pretty sneaky out from the side of BetBoom to just line up their defense in terms of vision.
Fly, he's going to move in. He's got level 2 Battery Assault, trying to move on to Miero, but misses the Cogs. There was a creep wave there anyway, so chances are they wouldn't have really gotten the kill. And now the race is naturally on for the 7-minute Wisdom Rune timing. Fly will go for a run, but Miero is going to be there to cut him off, and Saves actually blocked him off here on the bridge. Very awkward scenario here for Fly, but a beautiful rotation from Miero on Save. And that's one way to do it, John. Just hold him right on that little bridge.
Yeah. That bridge, man, it is a killer. It's very easy to get blocked. It's a very funny spot, but the punishment is nice. You do get 1-for-1 on the Wisdom Runes anyhow. You're not able to build ahead on Nouns, but you're happy enough with a freebie kill for BetBoom, especially handing that over to Miero, who again has had a mildly slower lane in terms of CS. Still up top.
Oh no. The worst part is, the CM looked like she had way more than 20 HP, but this damn kobold just walks up to her and just whips her and she dies. Oh my god, that's your rotation now from copy, meaning nothing. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Yuma's being dived at the moment, almost out of mana. Miero, though, forced to back off as he's just out of spells to throw out, but you are seeing the attempts from Miero, even on his own, can be very effective. It does not take long with level 3 Scorched Earth to get rid of that huge mana pool on Medusa. And I say huge, it's not really that big right now.
I mean, it's a decent amount to burn through at the very least. I always forget, I mean, refresh me here, Mike, as they start to poke a little bit on copy, but Doom does not stop mana regen, right? Am I mixing things up? Just thinking out loud here, because I can't check.
Question.
It should not, no?
That's a good question. I actually don't have the answer to that, but I'll let you know.
All right.
Once I see it.
Okay, good. Thank you, Mikey. My current situation, you know, I can't open Dota, so I can't actually check. But hey, it's a little bit relaxed, you know. I get to enjoy the show for once instead of having my camera jump all over the place because I'm a silly person. This game isn't silly though. Again, 1-to-1, very smart, very calculated play. You've given a lot of room out to Pure to farm on this Elk. He's got a nice little lead for himself. He's got a lot of room up top. That ward again saved his life a couple of times at this point. They're still hunting down Yuma just a tad.
Well, they've got Kiyotaka here, so Yuma's life is well and truly in danger now. He's got no stone gates to throw out, and as you can see, once the EMP lands, it's a very simple process of just deleting Yuma from the game. Kiyotaka with a nice rotation, and that's going to happen a lot. Like, you talked about it during the draft phase, but you pick Medusa into the draft where you have an Invoker Alk. Like, the Invoker is just going to ruin you with EMP practically every fight.
Yeah, that he is. You only start to feel safe on Yuma when you either have your Manta or your BKB. With the Manta, you have to be a god at dodging. With a BKB, you can just run. And that's the simplest point, but it's going to take some time until you get either one. It's going to take a lot more time until you get both, if you will go double defensive here on the Medusa overall, which doesn't feel like the best choice at times. Heck, you might even just bypass a BKB just for Lincolns, if that is the way to go. That could lead to some more balance with the stat distribution. Still a bit of a jump here.
Lelis is actually still okay, but not for... I thought Kiyotaka's running. Maybe he's got a chance of surviving, but not really. Karaomi will take his life. Getting a little bit concerned for Nouns, John. I mean, Pure is still completely uncontested in terms of farm. You know, top of the net worth board, of course, and he's just about to pick up a Radiance. Just needs about 100 golds for that. Meanwhile, mid lane looks like they want to break out into a fight. They found the Void Spirit now with the Doom out. No way for Copy to remove himself from this scenario as trying to run, but they've got the damage. Another 2 kills for the side of BetBoom in a perfect setup in that tree line. And again, with the way things are going, I mean, with this style of draft from BetBoom, you are in dire straits already as now.
That you are. Again, that tempo is up for the side of BetBoom. They have this ability to play rather quick. We were talking about the timing of Nouns, right? The potential of tying in with Beastmaster and Pugna pressuring onto tier 1s. We haven't even seen that sort of rotation out here from Nouns. There's been no pressure on Pure. Oh?
I mean, Copy did actually step towards him, but he kind of missed, and I guess just decided they didn't have really a chance at killing him anyway, so they just leave him. Look at all these stacks being taken, John. Pure just casually walks in. I mean, he's quite low, though. Pure!
Oh!
Whoops! I mean, in fairness, he's still got most of the creeps, but he does end up dying as mid lane Karaomi now being caught out. Well, I guess at least he didn't feed the call to Nouns. You know, that's that.
Yeah, you're happy enough. You know, he dies to neutrals. Who cares? A little bit of a reset. You steal some stacks. You slow down that tempo from Nouns. You take it away from Copy or Yuma, who'd really love to have that farm. Seeing a little bit of that poke on mid again, though.
We are. Everything's fine though mid lane. Kiyotaka very easily able to just hold the mid lane on his own. Of course, Pure back to the farming game here on the Alchemist again. Does have the Radiance up, which is probably why he felt safe. You know, with that added evasion, he thought there's just no way these creeps are going to kill me, but was not the case for our poor Alchemist. But he's back to the farm game, and John, I mean, the difference between net worth between Yuma and Pure is growing at a rapid pace, which is problematic. I mean, there is a stage where Yuma's going to have a Skadi build up, and he can start to look to fight back against this Alchemist late game. But you've got to get to late game, and that's where I'm seeing problems. In fact, bottom, he might get jumped. They're going to jump Miero first. Miero does have Doom up. He just wants to commit onto this Void Spirit before he dies, and he cannot do it. He'll hold on to Doom instead. They'll make the jump in with the Brambles, but catch nobody. So the chase is now on them to Fly. Yuma actually still on the tree line, going to pop the Stone Gaze and try to defend Fly here. They'll turn around onto this Dark Willow. Kiyotaka, meanwhile, on the tree line, going to try and move in onto the Void Spirit. Copy, taking a fair bit of damage, but is still okay. As Gunner now rotates over with the Roar out onto the Invoker. Kiyotaka, he'll be left behind. I'm actually very shocked that Kiyotaka stuck around to try and force that fight again. But props to nouns, understanding their limits. They rotate enough numbers over and they make the fight go their way.
They do manage to start to put a bit of a dent onto the side of BetBoom. A little bit unfortunate, you know, Yarrow never gets the Doom off. They never manage to try to get the right targets going their way, and nouns do get a lot of space out for Yuma to still keep this build up into that Manta we were talking about. But you still have that early lead lined up for BetBoom. You can't afford to bleed out space for sure. Again, we always talk about Alchemist being a pretty high tempo hero. You do want to keep that tempo going for yourself, and you can't really afford to let the rest of your team kind of bleed out while the Alch is kind of scaling up. We've seen that scenario before as well, with the Alchemist acting as a sort of gold vacuum and a fourth vacuum and goes out. So they get enough space to clear up tier 1 despite those losses earlier. You don't want to re-engage just yet on nouns. You want to use the space. And you're happy on the side of BetBoom to at least get some more reach into these bot jungle areas. Try to apply some pressure there. Nouns have a good read to just play up top, of course, just dodging out any sort of entanglement that can come out. And the side of BetBoom, I mean, with the Radiance already up, you probably don't need much more. You already have the Ags up on Gunner, so the initial build-up for the Beastmaster is ready into the Blink. I'm wondering if something like a BKB or Linken's or some sort of Aura comes into play as well, or the Dagon, depending on which way you want to go here in Beastmaster. That tends to be fairly flexible still. Hot shot away.
Push has started. Kiyotaka just starts pushing with the alacrity, of course. Nobody from nouns around to defend. They're actually trying for Roshan. And you do have a Beastmaster with Ags up, so you can certainly try for this, and it can be relatively quick. And I don't believe BetBoom actually have any idea this is happening, so a nice little trade from nouns. They let their tier 1 tower go, but they probably didn't want to force a fight there anyway. And instead, they'll secure Roshan for themselves, and Gunnar will be the one to take the Aegis up on the Beastmaster.
Yeah, I don't think you mind that too much. The Beastmaster is going to be your early frontline tempo. Your Dusa can't really utilize the Aegis as well right now with the items you have on Yuma. Gunner's secondary life should be a lot more impactful overall. So this does allow a little bit more risk-taking for the side of nouns if they would want to play for objectives. Their objective pusher has protection, and you can just sit back and allow Yuma to, again, try to play this catch-up game to kind of gap close onto Pure's net worth. Then these two cores on the side of nouns are starting to catch up into the Alchemist's farm. The Alch net worth lead has been, what, 3k gold for a while now? It hasn't really increased at the pace you'd want it to, so you need to find some openings here on the side of BetBoom. Smoke, see if it starts to pan out here.
And if they could find Yuma, it'd be massive. That was an interesting point as well, right? Because I was just saying Pure was taking too much farm and like getting too much net worth, but really Yuma's kind of caught up after that last fight that we saw down at bottom lane. And this is where things can get a little bit intimidating for BetBoom now, because you're really not that far ahead. In fact, Kiyotaka, where's the Raw Gunner? Never really gets it off yet. Eventually does get it. He just lost a bit of vision, but it's still gonna find Kiyotaka, and that's a huge pickup. Another bit of gold as well going to Yuma. And, you know, I'll tell you, John, like I was just saying, BetBoom, we're having an amazing game, but if Yuma gets that Skadi timing, things get very hard for BetBoom. You start to get worried if you're a BetBoom fan.
That you do, and I feel like, again, just the Manta alone provides Yuma enough defense potential to feel relatively safe. There's a couple of things to consider when these fights start to drag on as well. Like, can you find this plug in the backline? We talk about this in the drafting phase. BetBoom with their lineup don't have the best jump potential. They do have at least a blink up and Yarrow, so you can blink Doom, but you're not going to be hunting a Pugna with your Doom, you know, and this Pugna has to go. Right, like if you are allowed to just life drain up on Lilith, right? We were talking about the combination with Lion. Now you have the Pugna combination with Dusa, right? She is going to have infinite mana no matter what. She's not losing HP, so she's always going to be getting mana out, and it's just such a pain. We saw how well it worked with the Lion. It's the same idea with the Pugna, and we haven't even had to see it happen yet. So I think Yuma is set to be pretty terrifying. If not in damage, at least in durability. It's going to take a little bit too much investment to kill her off, especially if he does manage to Manta dodge EMP here.
We'll see how it all pans out again. I mean, BetBoom, they're still just trying to get as much farm onto Pure as possible. And now Pure does have the Blink and BKB available. So Pure is at a stage where he can join his team and fight once again. See, he might be lacking a little bit on the damage department, but with the Radiance Blink BKB, you can still get a lot done as the Alk. Here comes Gunner looking for a raw target. Gunner's got a Blink of his own now as well, so won't be struggling to initiate, that's for sure. They just want a big target, and they might find Kiyotaka soon. Kiyotaka and the Ghostwalk looks like he'll be okay. Instead, Gunner now running top lane to see if he can get Miero, and well, Miero is going to show on a creep wave, so this is a very important kill for Nouns to secure. He'll try to make his way towards perhaps the Twin Gates and just duke out this gank, but Gunner's coming. Miero's going to blink back up. He'll run towards the pit. TP away. Can we get a hook shot? Oh, it's not going to happen. Fly didn't have the vision. His rocket flare was just outside of the vision required. So a nice duke out for Miero, not getting caught out by Nouns.
And that wasted quite a fair bit of time here from the side of Nouns. Not going to be able to really look to apply pressure. Maybe a little bit of push pressure onto the tier 2. Again, you still have a Beastmaster Pugna combination. So there is some marginal threat to just safely poke at any objective, and that is something they'll leverage here inside of Nouns. It's kind of interesting as well. This is a little bit outside of the specific state of this game, but I feel like, as for us at least, Mikey, as DreamLeague's gone on, we've gotten less and less kills into the 20-minute mark, right? Like right now we're 5 to 6. Another smoke attempt from BetBoom. Maybe they look to liven it up a bit.
I mean, I do attribute that to the drafts, but you have been right. The kills have been pretty low in most of the games we've been watching. As you're gonna see Fly die. You won't really mind too much though. Fly just tanking the gank for his team is perfectly fine. In fact, if not just valuable, because it creates space for the rest of the squad to get some farm across the map. Yuma's still just about 4k behind Pure, who's trying to move in. Pure will land the stun, but a nice man to dodge from Yuma, going to ensure there is no follow-up. So it seems as though BetBoom again want to try and start moving into these objectives.
Yeah, I think, again, they just kind of understand that the Alchemist is starting to peak in terms of what it has ready in itemization. You know, you've got this good lead still lined up 5k above the next core now at this point. A very happy position for the Alch, one major item above. But that starts to shrink. And again, this is time where your Deuce is slowly scaling up as well. The Scotty starts to become a reality. More and more stuff starts to come out for Copy and Void Spirit. Maybe he starts to pick up Zags. Maybe he starts to get some protective items or just more damage to play with the Astral Step. And so we have a lot more to worry about. For now, it is just a Manta, but you know, once space is given, the Ag's timing is going to feel great. We've seen Daedalus Void Spirits come out as well. Just looking for pure burst when you do Astral Step in and get a couple of right clicks. And it's at that point where, again, Alchemist's item lead just doesn't suffice. So I'm wondering how much more the side of BetBoom can do. As, well, we shall see. 5 to 7 at 22 minutes in, unless I'm reading it wrong. I do have to apologize if I am getting the times wrong, Mikey. My screen is very tiny. I will show you some context, but it is rather interesting to watch this, right? It's actually quite fun.
It is 5 to 7 though, 22 minutes, Jonathan, so don't you worry, sir. Everything's fine.
Dire are scanning.
Back to the farm game for Pure. He's got an Orchid up now, looking towards an Assault Cuirass. Yuma does have the Skadi available now. Probably looking to maybe go for a Daedalus, pick up on the Medusa and get some damage out, and there you go. He does queue up the Daedalus. You know, I mean, the Skadi does allow him to deal with Pure throughout these fights a lot better. The Daedalus is going to make it much, much easier for Nouns to take these big team fights once they have it up. Though it is obviously going to take quite a bit of time. BKB now up on Miero as well, so he's going to be feeling a lot safer in these fights. That Copy will be getting his own Aghanim Scepter on the Void Spirit. BKB to come out on Gunner. I mean, a lot of key items coming out on both sides. But the action just isn't there right now. I mean, both sides just have this gentleman's agreement to not fight too much. Again, still 5 to 7, 23 minutes in. Though they are going to smoke as I say that. So perhaps I've just jinxed it, Jonathan, in a good way. And here we go. Nouns runs south towards their own jungle, where BetBoom are currently occupying. Kiyotaka is showing on a creep wave, and Gunner immediately going to jump in. Has found the Roar and the Invoker. Can they burst him down? Kiyotaka, no. He'll get the 4-star for where he's fine. Gunner the one in trouble, along with Lelis, both going down. They're even going to find Copy here, rooted up in the brambles. And Fly, not to really be outdone, will also go down by the looks of it. 4 for the price of nothing here for BetBoom.
Just an unfortunate start for the side of Nouns, but a really strong response out from the side of BetBoom. And they get this position right, they're durable enough to outlast, say, the burst windows that Nouns are trying to gun for. And for Nouns, it's just a little bit lacking. Like, this Roar comes in, you're a little bit too far from Fly. He does manage to get a hook shot, but they manage to declump already on the side of BetBoom. And then you have nothing left for this really strong freezing field coming in. Just becomes a ruinous set of engagements there for the side of Mounts. The one blessing you have is that Yuma's not dead. He's also not able to try to join his team at that point while still trying to get that build up. And it's a window for BetBoom. They pierce double digit, 5-11.
They're going to try and burst Pure down here, but he had the Chemical Rage available, so Lelis is going to get dropped immediately as a Copy still will get stunned up, though here comes Fly, and with the Eye of Skadi, Pure now maybe in a bit of danger, but not quite. Fly just gets destroyed. Yuma lacking a lot of damage on this Medusa for now. They will catch him with a Tornado and an EMP to come. Yuma now dropping quite low on mana. Could be in a bit of danger as Yuma needs to find a way out of this fight. Meanwhile, Gunner at least takes down Save on the Dark Willow. Yuma now completely out of mana, just running back towards the fountain instead. Mind you, Pure was chasing Gunner in the meantime, so you didn't really have that follow-up damage from your Alchemist. But it's going to be another successful fight for BetBoom. And they still will not lose their Alch. Pure's having a great old time.
Yeah, he is. Again, still building up, still maintaining a nice strong lead on top of that Dusa, around 8k above the Dusa at this point. So 2 major items, at the very least, here for the Alch, and this is definitely his peak. Right, this is when the Alchemist is at his strongest, right around at this point in the game. You have all the farm to get a bit of the chase down.
That's a big kill, John. I mean, Gunner going down like that, not going to feel very good, and Pure's got an amp damage rune active, so he's going to get a fair bit of damage, if not just the tier 2 tower. And there you go, the tier 2 bottom tower now gone. No problem here for Pure. And things are starting to get pretty challenging now. I mean, Pure's going to have the full Bloodthorn up in probably about 20-30 seconds. That's going to cause some issues.
That it is. And for the side of Nouns, you really need... I don't know, you need to try to consider how to make some defensive items on your other cores. You know, like maybe a BKB starts to come out as a priority for Gunner. Maybe a BKB as well for Copy somehow after the Eggs. Although,
well, he barely misses out on Lelis, who was Glimmer caped up, and of course Kiyotaka just missing the Tornado. Couldn't really lock down the Pugner. No problems though, not that big of a deal. Though it could be if he dies, because Fly has smoked up with his side looking for a hookshot onto Kiyotaka. So they want to take a big fight here against BetBoom by their tier 2, well, where it used to be their tier 2 top tower. Of course, Roshan is available, don't forget, so whichever team wins this fight has first dibs on Roshan. And that could be high ground if BetBoom can win the fight, because it does give you the Roshan banner, and of course that's going to make it very hard to defend for Nouns. Do have the added luxury of Fly obviously scouting out with the Rocket Flare constantly, so it's going to be hard for BetBoom to try and force Roshan without actually taking the fight first. But neither side really budging yet. Both sides just happy to sit back, although Save could get caught because he's under vision right now. Though Save arguably could be baiting for his side. Gunner's going to jump in looking for a Roar attempt, but they missed out. They lose vision at the last second. And that'll cost them the Roar, though Copy now going to jump in. Yules is out onto the Willow. She's still fine. Here comes Miera. He's got the Doom out. The Medusa cops it. She's going to go for a run, though. Yuma looks to be perfectly fine. As Gunner just commits a Roar and ensures they can't really follow up to the Doom. And now if you're Nouns, I mean, Doom's been committed. You could probably just wait for the next fight, which could start right now.
This is interesting. BetBoom are still looking for an angle back in. They smoke to disengage, but they're not fully giving up that position. So despite losing Doom, they might feel like that Nouns might get a little bit sloppy under re-engage. Maybe they start to find another straggler out here.
Well, you are lacking Roar as well, don't forget. So there is still some key spells that the Nouns don't have to play with. But I'd argue Doom's a lot bigger. They're going to try and start the Roshan. Kiyotaka can keep eyes on Roshan pretty easily as he moves in now with the EMP Tornado. It doesn't connect on anyone though. Hook shot in, Fly, he finds Kiyotaka, but the 4-star away is there. In fact, Fly might go down, and Pure's jumped in as well. Copy has been deleted by Pure. Yuma's popped the Stone Gaze, trying to retreat here from Pure, but Pure's still on the chase. Terrorize, not necessary, they're out. They'll TP away just fine. The issue being, though, for Nouns, you have given up Roshan now.
Yeah, it's such a big swing for the side of BetBoom, and it's like you mentioned, with Aegis on hand, with Banner coming down, high ground's not going to be too tough to do with an Alchemist, with the Alacrity coming out from the Invoker. So much to threaten here on the side of BetBoom. And the response from Nouns, again, it's not quite done yet. Like, your Deuce still has so much more to farm up, of course. You've kind of stacked your other cores to allow this to happen, right? Like Copy's bottom network core. You're barely above that on Gunner. So you had to do a lot to give this Deuce as much as it has. Almost the same story as the Alchemist, of course. It's just the Alch is so much richer. And your cores on the side of BetBoom are better off because you've been winning these engagements with your Alchemist. The high ground hold for the side of Nouns, it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, you have the netherboard, you can stick back, you can poke with the axes, you can scout with the rocket, you've got the gaze at the very least to try to maybe bait in BetBoom deep and punish afterwards. It's easier said than done. I think these 2 lives in Pure, as long as he doesn't play reckless, let's say gets caught out and remnanted and chainstyle and stuff, he should still be in a very happy spot, and he will just rip away at the tier 2 by himself. And BetBoom are again just maintaining this spike that they have with the Alch. Pure has just been given way too free of a game. No one ever stopped his tempo. And in comparison, BetBoom did everything they could to make this game hellish for Yuma early on.
Yeah, they're still in the game, at the very least. If you are Nouns, you've got decent high ground defense here with the Medusa Beastmaster, so we'll see if BetBoom want to try and commit that Roshan banner with the Aegis up and make that play for high ground soon. I mean, Yuma does have the full Daedalus up, so damage is slowly getting there for the Medusa. Still, though, obviously BetBoom looking like the much stronger team with the 14k advantage there. Wait. Still hovering around the mid lane is BetBoom. They're not looking too confident yet to try and move in, and it's going to be the difficult thing. Without finding a pick-off, in fact, hold that thought, because Miero's been jumped. Miero cops a roar here from Gunner. And Miero, oh, he's got the BKB off, but he dies anyway. Pure jumps in with a stun out, but there was a Stone Gaze from our Medusa, so Yuma's perfectly fine. Fly's got hookshot available, and he had vision on Pure, but he doesn't make the jump. The thing is, the more time you can buy to waste out this Aegis, the higher chance Nouns have of dragging out this game to a point where Yuma becomes a huge issue.
Yeah, it just goes back to how much more can you give for this Dusa, you know, and losing your Doom like that, even still holding the Aegis does stall for more time, even though it's just around 20 seconds. That's 20 seconds where you know they're not going to siege high ground, where you know they're not going to be looking for that much commitment into a team fight. Maybe a couple of pick-offs, sure, if they can find it, but you're not going to give that opportunity out now. So it's all about the stall game and just trying to hit your own spikes, trying to nullify that item advantage of the Alchemist by making it late game, where, you know, if we say, let's say we're at 40 minutes in, the Alchemist is 10k ahead of everyone else. It really doesn't matter by the time you're at 40 to 50 minutes at that point. It's not as big of a deal.
He's alright. They won't have the vision to throw the stun out, so Copy's going to be just fine. And I'll tell you, John, this is getting a little bit intimidating, I think, for BetBoom, because lanes are being constantly shoved out. They're not able to maximize and utilize the Aegis on Pure. Pure is basically at the stage where he's 6-slotted too. So you are hitting that point now where the Alch has little room to grow. And if they can keep this split push going, again, I mean, Yuma's eventually going to be an issue.
That he is. I feel like something has to happen on this Aegis, and with you on that point, whether or not that could be high ground though, it's challenging. Someone who Nouns has to kind of slip up. Maybe Nouns are the ones to force the fight outside in a position where BetBoom's much more comfy, like say the triangle right inside. We'll see. They will actually smoke up in BetBoom. They know what they have to do while the Aegis is up. Just a matter of whether or not they can actually find a target they need, whether or not they can actually start this fight without Nero getting blown to pieces first.
Bottom, they're gonna find Fly. Not that big of a kill. Fly trying to get a bit of farm up to get that Lotus Orb he's looking for. Pure will of course take his life away, but if you can get Pure Copy rather, who does get caught by Yules, but oh, nice dodge on the Terrorize. Very nice dodge with the Manta. Copy will not get caught. They're still looking for a stun. He has no Astral Step charges left and no Dissimulate, so it looks like Copy could be in a bit of danger. He has one now, but the silence is out. He's down. That's a much bigger kill here for BetBoom.
And that's the kind of target you're looking for. The backline jump of Nouns, the way they have of kind of controlling these fights by having great silence, having all of these remnants flying around, taken out of the picture for a little bit more time, and that's a time where you have some opportunity to poke. Your high ground siege, again, there is threat. It's an alchemist with an invoker with alacrity. Potential is certainly there. You've got a Crystal Maiden who could also go for some very hilarious talents to help them push. You have some pro players actually go for the attack speed. A little bit of a jump, not full commitment onto Yuma, but they are starting to feel confident on the side of BetBoom. Again, no more Aegis, it does fade away, but they've still got a massive amount of gold that they have to use here on the Elk. They've got...
He's found a big target. They're going to jump in with the hook shot, win the cogs out as well, holding Pure down. Yuma, he'll get the Stone Gaze off. Pure's in big trouble. Pure needs to get out, but he cannot. The Alchemist is down. Fly will save the day with a beautiful hook shot. And now suddenly BetBoom on the retreat. They'll lose Karaomi on the way out. Everybody else is fine to get away, but that's how quick it can happen, John. One nice hook shot from Fly into a cogs, and suddenly Yuma gets that Stone Gaze off and you're in big trouble.
Yeah, just a bit of an awkward position from Pure. He was playing that lane pretty well, hugs that tree line. There's a great flank coming out from Nouns. The punishment does, again, achieve what we were talking about earlier in terms of stalling out for this Dusa. They've got some time now. High ground threat never really got realized here by the side of BetBoom. Their lead is still up, but it's not a massive lead any longer at 35 minutes in. And this is where Nouns start to feel a little bit stronger. Again, this combination of Invoker Alki is still nice. There's still maybe some potential now to start thinking about Moon Shards into like Ag's Blessings to be given out if you are fully done here on Pure. But yeah, at that positioning, look at how isolated this Alchemist was. Like, he wasn't force-staffed into that position, he was just standing there. He was poking and prodding onto the high ground, starts to poke and prod onto this cliff, figures that he could try to poke a hero, and Nouns are just ready to punish. No one else in BetBoom was close enough to try to play that, and they're just forced to stack that. A bit of a blunder out from BetBoom, and again, Nouns, they're not losing anything on the high ground yet. They're more than happy to play this stall game if you allow them to. Like, why not? They've got the Dusa. They've got Dusa Pugna. They can top him up. You've got scaling in Void Spirit. You've got this always relevant Beastmaster. You're happy to try to drag this one out a little bit more.
Now you've got the full Kaya Sanj up on Yuma to boot, so again, he's becoming more and more problematic on this Dusa now. Much more resistance, much more stats. Here we go. I mean, a big smoke on smoke scenario. Roshan still up in about 55 seconds, but obviously whoever wins this fight essentially has Roshan in their hands. That'll be the third one of the game as well. They've been wrapping around on Roshan's pit side. Fly gonna get some D wards off on the top lane, so they'll see the clock. Rocket Flare gonna give zero vision for now. Copy gonna break the smoke. Miro trying to jump in, has found nobody quite yet. They saw Copy, but they just don't see the way to initiate. I mean, it's just so hard for BetBoom because this fight is so important. If you lose this fight, I mean, the game completely flips on its head. Nouns will well and truly be in the lead.
Just can't afford to. Like caution, but we are at a very interesting angle once again. We've seen this kind of switcheroo between Radiant and Dire in terms of being around this top Roche. No follow-up smokes though for either side, so no secondary smokes to try to sneak, but see how long BetBoom will want to commit to this position. I think Nouns might not be too keen on leaving the safety of their own high ground jungle here as well. So you could be stuck at a little bit of an impasse. Perhaps BetBoom could try to sneak Roche themselves, but with a clockwork from Fly, there are ways to just keep that in check. You're not going to be able to be the most sneaky here on the side of BetBoom unless you, again, get another smoke out here somehow.
Oh, you kind of wish Nouns would check the power rune spot at the top side, because there is a damage room just casually sitting there, but neither side has vision over it. They're going to start Roshan, but vision is there from Rocket Flare. Yuma's wrapping around. Brambles is going to catch him though. Roshan's still half HP at the moment. They've given up on it for now. Yuma going to get jumped with his stun, but Pure does not want to commit. Just a bit of a warning shot towards you. You're looking for Miero to get a big doom off. Gunner looking for a Raw, has not found one yet onto Kiyotaka. Instead they'll turn onto Pure. Hookshot's there to lock him down. Pure, he needs some help, but where's the help? It's not coming. The Terrorize, it's not enough. Pure is down. Miero's jumped in for a doom, but it's too late. Uh-oh. BetBoom, they were in the lead for the whole game, but well, now I'm afraid it's going to be switching very quickly, Jonathan. As Yuma now having a triple kill on the Medusa. Roshan to go their way. Ag's Blessing on top. And you can see Dota Plus, it's shifted win probability very fast.
I mean, it definitely would. You lose your entire net worth lead from the side of BetBoom. At that point, again, pretty marginal, mainly on just the Alchemist. This Deuce is really starting to take over the game. You're starting to see some of the effects of having a Pugna to top it up in the back line as well. Just consistent mana to play with as Seducer, never any threat in the front line. And again, it's like what we were saying. This Void Spirit's going to scale in damage. Gunner with a Roar is always going to be happy. They catch Copy a bit.
He almost dies. Kiyotaka trying to guess for the Tornado. Doesn't quite get the right spot with the Dissimulate, but nevertheless, I mean, that bit of a warning for Coffee, I guess, just that Scythe device making it very hard to survive any kind of initiation from Kiyotaka. But it is BetBoom now that need to find a way back into this game. And sure, Pure is still massive, but you've seen how easily he can get taken down at this stage. And Gunner's been very good at getting those roars off on this Alchemist every time. You haven't got any heroes with a Lincoln Sphere or a Lotus yet either on BetBoom. The supports have not farmed those items, neither have any of the cores. And so you really don't have the block you're looking for. In fact, Kataomi's going to die to the Tormentor. I mean, he gets the shards for his trouble, I guess, but, you know, he's going to die.
Yeah.
They even gave the Ag's Blessing to Fly, just give him the overclocking on the clockwork.
I don't mind that at all. The vision gain you get is just a little bit too obnoxious. Even all the utility you get with the rest of the complements on your spells, the wider AoE on the hook for the stun, the debuff immunity when you're in cogs, the all-around battery assault, it's pretty devastating. So I don't mind that. There's an argument to be made to just hand it to Dusa, I suppose, but a little bit unnecessary, and of course Pugna's is not necessary whatsoever in this game. You will just be happy with a clockwork. At least Nouns will be. Well,
so he's ready to get started on this tier 3 tower now. Nouns understanding how potent and powerful they really are at this stage. They've dropped the Roshan banner. They've dropped it pretty far back as well, so just really ensuring they get their value out of it. I mean, they're obviously going to play a very slow, siegey style of game here, Nouns. No need to give BetBoom an opening to try and win a fight. BetBoom, though, they do smoke up as 3, and it looks like they might wrap around through their own triangle and try to sneak up behind Nouns. Scan is going to catch Fly in their triangle, so they know somebody's there. It's just a matter of how do you actually get there in time. Like, Yuma's still taking your tier 3 tower, and it's now officially just down. So racks are open. Miero needs that perfect doom. He's going to jump in. He has found one onto Copy, but Copy's just going to casually walk away. Meanwhile, Raw committed onto this doom. Pure still trying to chase down, looking for Fly, but this is his whole BKB duration. Pure gets nothing out of it. Terrorize at least will land on the Medusa, so they do force back Yuma. But nothing happening so far here for Pure. He's been trapped between a rock and a hard place now. Kataomi, he's down. Pure, he's going to try and fight back against the Pugna, but it's not really that good. Lelis, he does go, but Gunner controlling the Alchemist, and here comes Yuma. Pure in trouble. Trapped between the cogs is down. Miero trying to get away. It's not the fight BetBoom wanted. They'll commit another doom on a Copy, but what does it matter? Copy's taken 2 Dooms his team fight and he's still alive. Here comes the buyback. Pure understands they can't afford to lose the fight. Chaos Meteor gonna find Copy. He'll finally go down. Kataomi looking to drop. Here comes Pure onto Yuma. Kataomi actually surviving somehow with the 4-staff as Yuma now. Getting a little bit low on mana, but still has the Aegis up for another minute. With those buybacks, they may have saved themselves a high ground defense to come. Yuma still looks like he wants to try and pressure, but you are in a 3v3 scenario. I'm not sure how safe he feels about this. I mean, he does still have the Aegis up, to be fair, though. He'll go in for that bottom rack.
Yeah, I think why not, right? There's no Doom, no double Doom. Alchemist can still be annoying, but it's really the Doom that kind of ruins
Gunner.
him.
He's found the Alchemist, but a nice 4-staff away. Will save the life of Pure. Yuma just wants that bottom racks. He just wants to aim down those objectives, but Pure looks to move in once again with his stun. Terrorize is going to land. Who do they target though? Pure. He's going to try for Yuma, but he still has the Aegis up. They've got to try and time this one perfectly. He's got 15 seconds for that Aegis to expire. Pure, has he gone too far? He's in the middle of nowhere here. He's got a BKB at least to play with. He'll run away back towards the north as now Miero is going to come in. The Doom is back. Lelis is just trapped now, but they want Yuma. They're ignoring the Pugna completely. Yuma going to be able to swift blink away. He's now flies back up. Hook shot available. He's going to stay Pure. He just needs the angle for the hook. He won't throw it yet. Pure half HP, but they're going to leave him alone. Fly will just hold back on the hook shot.
Rather patient to close out there for Nouns, but again, just a bit awkward for the side of BetBoom. The moment you commit that double Doom out in that earlier fight, there's no threat. For the high ground, you can maybe poke and prod on this Dusa, but considering all the items you already have on Yuma, he's not that scared. And I like the decision making in BetBoom, hold on.
I mean, they're watching this Medusa. Yuma. He's going to get rooted. Miero trying to move in for a Doom, does decide better of it, but does force the BKB usage. So nice little pump fake from Miero. At least get something. It's not really a big deal, you know. The BKB was already at 6 seconds anyway. But you've got 80 seconds now where you could try to force the fight, knowing the BKB won't be up for the Dusa.
What angle does he take as BetBoom? Again, they've tried targeting Coffee. It doesn't feel like it does enough. Maybe you just try to prevent the roar from coming out somehow? Doom Gunner?
I think
kill him off?
I think it has to be Gunner. Yeah, Gunner's the real problem. I mean, it is nice to just get rid of that copy Void Spirit and just make sure he doesn't have those double charges of Resonant Pulse available to just continue spamming out. But I think the roar is the big problem here for Pure, because as soon as he gets roared up, Yuma has complete control.
You gotta be able to try to spot him out, and you don't have the same vision game as the side of Nouns does. You know, with Rock the Flare constantly flying about, you just can't sneak around and find a backline as easily.
They're hunting. Nouns want something. Rocket Flare's flying out. They're gonna spot save. No angle for Fly though, so can't really hook in. Oh, Pure. Do they see him? Oh, I think they did. They saw him. Pure's been jumped. Pure's been jumped. Pure's gone. That's a dieback on Pure. He's down for 2 minutes. He did buy back earlier. Oh boy. He's got 4 minutes 15 seconds before he can buy back. It's a long ass time. And Nouns know it. They can move in for at least the secondary racks, if not megas.
I can see the game ending off the back of that. The Alk is just, he's all of your net worth. Right? So this net worth advantage is just even worse.
They've jumped in. They've got to try and fight on their terms, even though they don't have their carry available. They need to buy 90 seconds. It's a long, long time when someone's knocking on your high ground. They're trying their best, though. Just poking and prodding at this Medusa, trying to get that mana pool down. But there's Lilith. That's the Pugna kicking it. Here comes the Void Spirit. We're jumping on Kataomi, but Copy. That Copy's alright. He'll just simulate away from the Terrorize. Now, tier 3 mid tower now down. Still 65 seconds without Pure. They're going for the safer route. They don't want to try tier 4s yet. Just get those mega creeps up. In fact, never mind. Yuma wants the tier 4 towers. They'll ignore the mega creeps for now. They want the game to end. 50 seconds left. Miro's going to jump in. In fact, Kiyotaka's been caught out with a roar from Gunner. A secondary roar, and Miro going to catch both of them out. The Doom is down. Kiyotaka's still trying to run, but Yuma's just going to cut him off right in front of the fountain. He is gone. This game has to be over. GG is called, and Nouns, they pull off a Game 1 victory, which BetBoom had complete control over for the first 30 minutes of the game. But props to Nouns, Jonathan. They make the space and they make Game 1 work their way.
That they do. And again, for Nouns, this is a very important win because anything like a draw at this point would just make it maybe, I think, close to mathematically impossible for them to climb out of this bottom position, to have a hope to go into the top 4 to continue their journey in DreamLeague 24. But a win here sets the stage for them coming into Game 2. BetBoom team, they're not any better off, right? Like, they're also not in the safest position here for their group in group stage number 1. So they need to find a way to get a draw. They had some great ideas coming in. You know, we're seeing the Pure Alchemist come out. Kiyotaka and the Invoker were doing great. It's just a matter of trying to close it out. And again, it's one of those games where we see a team just stall out a little bit too much up against Medusa. We've seen this multiple times before where the Alchemist tempo just sort of disappears. Very big props out to Nouns, so again, using the advantage in their draft. Well, this vision game that they had just enabled a lot, and it's kind of the same story. Every time we see this clockwork, it feels like teams have a big issue in trying to hunt any big core. We saw Fly cop a lot of the early hits, and that just, again, provided the space necessary for Nouns to keep climbing up there.
Yeah, and props to them as well for giving him the Ags blessing. Like, you saw that triple rocket flare just barely catching Pure mid blink, and that was all that made the difference. Yeah, had he not had that Ags, they probably would not have seen that Alchemist and not got that dieback. So Nouns, props to them. Game 1 going their way. Game 2 though, going to be just as important. They need that 2-0 victory here up against BetBoom. We'll see if they can make it work, because we are going to head to a break, and right after that break, we'll be back with Nouns versus BetBoom, game number 2.
About, right, like how much can Gunner really get out of his lane? How can he translate that into tempo? We've seen Visages fall behind, and then the hero doesn't feel that good, especially since, you know, his death toll facet was nerfed down. So I think the conditions are just easier overall for BetBoom. Not to say that Nouns draft is bad. It's just maybe a little bit more punishing if things don't go right.
Absolutely. Well, here we go. Nouns wrapping around already through the Radiant jungle, trying to get in position for a first blood attempt, but there is going to be a 5-man smoke commitment from BetBoom. Yuma does reveal himself in the Radiant jungle, just taking the Watcher away, and they're going to go for a counter smoke now on Nouns. So both sides looking like they are interested in a fight, but Nouns more so look like the ones that really want to force a fight. In fairness, you do have a Visage on your side of things, so you certainly are looking for level 1 team fights whenever you can get them. Of course, he does go for the death toll facet as well, so a lot of gold to be had. As Save going to have his smoke broken, but Yuma's got the stun ready. Fly gets a disruption, and we are in dire straits for Save now. He will cop the Soul Assumption, and that'll be first blood to Yuma on the Sven. The perfect start for now.
Exactly what you'd want here coming out. For now, it's a little bit more extra for Yuma to play with, to try to get an advantage in the lane, and to end up being pretty happy with the bounty rune trades overall. As again, you're just eking out a little bit of an advantage early. We'll take a look at a little bit of a chase down around the map first. Just some poking and prodding here coming out onto Lelas from Kataomi. The Ogre Magi is, again, something that can be poked out maybe by level 2 or 3. Level 1, he can just right-click trade with you, and obviously with learning curve, Kataomi is just going to try to soak and create some spacing by just running around like a zero intelligence hero, which is just amazing. I love it. You just run in. That's it.
Not quite as strong with the level 2 timing on Kataomi this game. I feel like because Pure might have some issues following up with the damage that Kataomi and that can provide, but as you are seeing, Gunnar and Lelas already really just kind of establishing dominance here as top lane. Fly going to go down. Save able to secure a kill pretty early on, so happy days for him. Yeah, a bit of vengeance after that first blood giveaway to Yuma. But going back to the bottom lane, they are already applying so much pressure with this Visage and Huerta. I don't think things get too much easier as the levels do come up.
No, it doesn't simplify all that much. Again, you might not have the best of ways to clear through refraction. I don't think it's the biggest factor anyhow for Pure. It's really just the threat of the burst. The magical damage ties in all too well.
A bit of a chase happening, but they already committed the Stormhammer stun, so a bit of chip damage here towards the side of BetBoom. How's the mid lane going? I mean, copies against Kiyotaka on this Earth Spirit this time instead of a Void Spirit. I still think it should be relatively similar in terms of the matchup, but it seems the copy already is having a bit of a better time.
Yeah, just a little bit, maintaining a slight advantage over the Invoker, not by much, mind you. So, you know what, one creep advantage so far at this point in the game, not the biggest deal. It's something you can recover from. I think the big thing is that you do have a little bit of iframes here for the Earth Spirit. That's a little bit more spammable as well. So whenever you roll, it's a little bit safer. You have a little bit of a safer reach distance with a kickback. So you're fairly happy just kind of going back and farming. No problems there. And that just leads to some stability here for Copy, allowing him to also pick and choose when he does want to fully commit for a little bit more poke here.
So there was a big pick-off when you were talking, John. Pure ends up going down bottom lane. A pretty big pick-off to have here for Nouns, and Pure again not having the greatest of times down at bottom. I imagine the aggression won't be stopping anytime soon as well. Like you've got Copy who can always rotate down once that 6-minute mark hits, assuming he can get a nice power rune for himself, and of course you can be hyper aggressive against this TA and ensure that Pure doesn't get that quick BKB Deso timing that you generally look for on these TAs.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like you have the best of room from the side of BetBoom to try to stack up early either. There is a lot of pressure coming out in your lanes. If they could start to build up a little bit more, provide some resources for the TA to catch up, I don't think you'd be too upset, but as it stands, you're not feeling the best in the world. A little bit more of that poke and prodding mid. Pretty nice EMP to slow down Compy just a tad bit. But I think the one thing you have to be concerned about from now on is once you do start to, you know, we were talking about if Gunnar goes off to a slow start in Visage, it feels bad. If he goes off onto a fast start, let's say goes for the Solar Crest or just goes for a straight up Orchid. Oh,
he's alright. Never mind. I thought they might have considered jumping, but they don't.
Yeah, just threaten a little bit. I mean, you have this good game lined up for Gunnar. CS-wise, not amazing, but again, the pressure's there in lane. He's not cut up from EXP. Mid is a little bit more drawn out. Copy still not able to get some movement across the map. You're slightly ahead in the Invoker now, at the very least. So there is that to be happy about for Kiyotaka, but again, the margins aren't too high here.
It becomes a little bit harder for Copy once he has no mana for the Boulder Smash. Much harder to just clear out the creep wave against this Invoker. Still, I mean, again, still having a better time than last game around, at least for the laning stage, so sure he'll still be alright. I don't think Earth Spirit really needs as much farm as, say, a Void Spirit anyway. Can still be very effective without it. Pretty quiet though, 1 to 2 5 minutes in. We haven't seen too much aggression from either side lanes recently either. You are getting to the stage where you are starting to expect some rotations from mid. Again, maybe once those power runes spawn up, we could see Copy starting to move. as far as top goes, Miero's having a really good time just farming right by his tier 1 tower, so just controlling the wave very nicely. And in fact, they're going to try and move on to Yuma. Spear does land with the Bushwhack setup. I mean, Yuma is a pretty tanky boy, even with level 1 Warcry. He'll turn around, dish a bit of damage back to Miero. Meanwhile, bottom lane, though, there is a jump on to Pure. Already a lot of HP being removed here from the TA, but he's going to try and fight back against Gunnar, but it's no good. No good whatsoever. They're able to burst through those refraction charges so quickly at the moment. And once again, Nouns finding probably the most important kill of the game. Is Gunnar being chased by Karaomi, but they still have Copy around. This is not a safe fight to force. They'll take Gunnar's life away. Karaomi, though, probably set to fall, as even Save still sticking around, does get disrupted. Kataomi desperately trying for Lilith, will not be able to take that kill. Meanwhile, Pure, he's back into the fight. Fly's gonna die, so Pure does get something for all this trouble. And it turns out that the fight was not too bad after all for the side of BetBoom.
Yeah, just maybe dragging on for a little bit too long for the side of Nouns. Ample opportunity for the respawns to kick in. And when you do manage to get a reset on the TA, you can still rip these softer targets apart. So a nice set of kills coming out for Pure to at least compensate for that overall. It's still a very even game state. You're still in a very playable spot for both sides. But I do feel like for BetBoom, that pressure is there to play a little bit quicker. See how all of that broke down, at least the tail end of all of those trades coming out there. And for now, I think you're still in a happy spot. Maybe just this emphasis on Pure has been smart. You just have to be a little bit cautious about overextending some of these chase downs. But the ideas are correct. It's just that when you give him these chances to clean up like this, it kind of makes up for all of those.
On mid lane, Kiyotaka getting caught. It doesn't at least drain all the mana of the enemy, but he does go down. Another massive pick-off, and well, this one goes to Yuma, who makes a pretty early rotation considering it is a Sven. But gets the God Strength, rotates into the mid, and finds a pretty important pick-off.
That he does. It was a pretty free game so far for Kiyotaka. Again, he was left alone on mid while of those rotations happened down bot, but they do manage to finally get some punishment in. You don't mind about getting that new movement out for Yuma. Again, you pop God Strength, you jump through the camps anyhow. Yeah, you're more than happy to just farm this way, a little bit more aggressive still.
Well, they are going to catch Fly. They wanted to power in on top, but it was spawning bottom, and well, Kataomi does pick up the shield rune anyway, so it's not really given to Copy. Nice little support pickup now from BetBoom. Of course, it is going to buy a lot of catch-up space for Pure as well, who desperately needs it at the moment. Is still second in net worth though, but you are contesting against the Sven, who is already at the top of the net worth board, so Pure got to ensure those deaths do not keep coming, and he can just get to the farming game. Mid lane, push has begun on the tier 1. In fact, it's a lot of damage already being dealt to the tier 1 tower, but it seems like now they're going to have the numbers to ensure it doesn't get taken out yet.
Yeah, just hanging on as much as possible. Ooh.
Yeah, nice pickup onto Gunnar. Pure does move in for a bit of a melt strike, and Miero will be securing the kill on the Master. Now Gunnar sticking around a bit too long does get punished for it.
Yeah, and that's again a nice hero to just kind of pin down. We've been talking about the Visage requiring a lot of tempo. When it falls behind just a tad, can feel a little bit rough, and Gunnar is bottom network core at the moment. So despite maybe working out some angles in the lane, not feeling the best of it right now on the Visage, and I'm wondering which way he goes again in terms of itemization. It's fairly open in the hero. Curious to see if he's emphasizing auras, if he's emphasizing control, it's an Orchid build-up, or just something simple like a Solar Crest kind of utility from off. All those options work. All the Crest is a little bit more support. Still going bot.
Yeah, they want Pure. Pure's still okay. Roll's not going to connect from Copy, and TPs are incoming. In fact, Copy's taking a lot of damage. Copy will drop BetBoom. Already finding one really nice kill, and now another. Gunnar also caught, and to make matters really bad, both kills will go the way of Pure.
That's not what you want to see if you're a Nouns fan. BetBoom gonna be more than happy to do that. I mean, Gunnar dies basically back to back. Again, losing a lot of time, a lot of space where you could just be farming up on his Visage, feeling pressured to play with his team, to connect with his Earth Spirit. They gain control into the triangle off of that for BetBoom as well, so they can start to hunt down these stacks and just really start to starve out Nouns a little bit more. Nice early lead coming out here for BetBoom. Nouns, you are still getting farm on Yuma at the least, but it's going to be a little bit longer until that starts to connect, as they will find more freebies here.
Bottom lane, Lilith does get taken out quite easily. While that was happening, mid tier 1 tower also ends up dropping. Fly now being chased down by Save and Kataomi. A bushwhack gonna land very nicely as well from Save. And Fly, oh, he's got help incoming, but is it gonna be enough to survive? I do not think so. They're still gonna try and move in and at least find a trade onto Kataomi, but a nice arena down from Yero, gonna lock Copy in. Copy does not want to trade his life for support, but it seems as though he has no choice as BetBoom will need to find a way to get Pure and Miero out of there, but they've still got Kiyotaka to back them up, so it's not really a free fight at all for Nouns. So it looks like they've lost Lelis. Yuma now in danger. Cold snap out from Kiyotaka, and Yuma gets sniped.
Oh, man.
Gunnar not out of danger either. He's down. Huge fight for BetBoom. And John suddenly has 6k net worth advantage, 11.5 minutes in. That's massive.
That it is. And the side of Nouns still end up losing their stacks. I think I can see why the pressure is there to play fast. They know they have to take care of these resources to catch up. It just cost them. Like they're not ready on most of their heroes to start to get these big fights going their way. And the punishment again from BetBoom is consistent. It almost feels like the side of Nouns are streaming in all one by one. They don't have clear angles to jump in outside of the roll from Copy. The follow through isn't that clear. Their AoE control is kind of stuck to, like, say, a kick. The silence is coming in, the magnetize in, maybe a Stormhammer coming out there from Yuma. And not the most reliable. Where you compare this teamfight potential out from the side of BetBoom, it's just greater. The timings coming in for the arenas are massive as well, and Kiyotaka's just free to find angles when they are all just kind of scattered around. Like, Nouns are looking a little bit lost with this game number 2. Just missing early tempo in the lane. They were trying to trade back and forth a little bit. Doesn't quite line up for a big early advantage after they overextend or overstay their welcome bot. And BetBoom now, you've got this TA that's getting active very early on. She's going to have physical burst. You can start to consider a Roche timing to come in with Alacrity and Bloodlust. This gets scary for the side of Nouns once the first Roche is taken quickly here.
It certainly does. BetBoom looks like they are going to go through the twin gates and try to secure that first Roshan already. I mean, why the hell not? Not too hard of a target with the alacrity provided by Kiyotaka, but they are going to hold out for a little bit, it seems. Bit of a scan out onto Gunnar, so perhaps looking to hunt the Visage first. Fly's been spotted. Fly will get caught. And Bushwhack to lock him down from Save, and yeah, nice easy kill for Miero now. They still haven't bothered trying for Roshan yet. But it doesn't really matter because they'd rather kills. In fact, Gunnar's going to show up and he's caught. Tornado will land. They are there with the follow-up and he just melts to Pure's Meld Strike. Keep in mind, he's got no points in Gravekeeper's Cloak yet, so there's not really much defense on this Visage.
No. I mean, I appreciate the full offense build and trying to work lane the early part of the game, but it just doesn't pan out too much. They could line themselves up for a little bit of a push into the tier 2 if they want to poke into the Roshan, but see if now can start to find some angles here.
Bit of an awkward kick from Copy. Copy now in danger again. I mean, this is really not what you want as a mid-earth spirit. Just constantly in the arena. Meanwhile now, the rest of Nouns still farming the wave, but they've got to run. Chase is on. Kataomi gonna at least find a Fire Blast on the Fly, but they're not gonna dive tier 2s. Still paying respect. Instead, though, they'll look for Gunnar. But Gunnar gonna be okay. No arena up on Miero to lock him down. And they'll still be very happy, though. I mean, Copy's just not having a game at this point on the Earth Spirit. His middle pack of the net worth lead, and it's just not good enough when you're playing ES to be at this stage. It's not helping at all.
I mean, he's bottom network core. You don't have any of those early item spikes you'd want. He does have the Blade Mail. Doesn't really have the HP to back that up, or to actually get big utility out of it. you just get bursted down anyhow by what the side of BetBoom has. You need a lot more time from the side of nouns, and BetBoom, again, you know, they haven't taken Roshan yet. They do have Desolator already up and running here on Pure, so the damage is starting to scale up. Not the most charges just yet. It is fresh buy. But a couple more kills, and I think you're kind of in the clear for BetBoom to just take Rosh, poke into tier 2s, farm up a storm, start to deny the map from the side of nouns, and slowly but surely maybe look for opportunities to get a kill to poke high ground just a bit, if that is something that presents itself. Usually by that time you're just really sitting back and farming. For nouns, what's the recovery progress? Because this is where things are, again, complicated, and we talked about this at the start here, Mike. If the Visage falls behind, it doesn't feel that impactful. Same thing almost goes for the Earth Spirit, as they'll sneak up here.
They've got Yuma. Yuma hasn't got anything like a BKB. He's only got a Lilith behind him. And Yuma, he's kind of getting really bullied here by Kiyotaka, and Pure, of course, will just secure the kill. Deso up as well, so Pure now can certainly just look for a quick Roshan if he wants, and that's, I think, where they're headed. I mean, complete control for BetBoom. This is, to me, similar to what was happening in Game 1, but this is even better than Game 1.
Yeah, it's just a lot cleaner from the side of BetBoom. And the angles back in for nouns are a lot harder to see. Mainly because, you know, in the last game, Gunnar had Beastmaster, he had Roar, that was always relevant. In this case, the Visage, again, it has some weird scaling to it, but it's not particularly amazing from a behind position. Like the aura play loses a little bit of impact. The Ags, say Blood Torrent can still work, but I don't know if you're really lacking damage. It feels like you're lacking control, really, on nouns. And there's no easy fix for that until maybe you can start to consider Site of Vices coming in, which is, again, a long ways off for anyone to even consider. Roshan goes for BetBoom, nice and easy, with all of these timings lined up, and this is where you start to see, again, knocking onto tier 2s, look for an opportunity to find a kill into a high ground poke, and they take top, or they're poking onto top, they're setting up for mid, and nouns just cannot play into this. They can't stop it. Look at Pure, just cutting through top creep wave, he's got protection from the rear, and nouns is just across the river. They cannot be close to this area.
No, they cannot. Copy's going to be very cautious as well mid lane. He may get caught again by Miero, who has the blink up and ready to go. Oh, running right into him. Smoke broken. Roll has not been blocked, but Miero still caught him. No problem. They've got the arena. Copy, really no way out of this one. He is just set to die. It's just so tough. Like, without the BKB up on this Earth Spirit, he just can't do anything now. And hell, by the time he has it up, John, he's going to be so under level. And so underfarmed. It just may not matter.
Yeah. Again, it's just the tempo is thrown off here. For now, you need all of these items at very specific timings. You need to kind of keep up the pace with the EXP. It just doesn't come in. And it's rather unfortunate for Coffee, again, considering his mid lane matchup was alright for the first 2 minutes. Kind of tapers off a little bit. Nouns, they're going to try to hunt. They need something to line up here somehow, but how do you even start fights? Like, do you just expect... Is it all just on Copy yet again? Like, just fully defend on this Earth Spirit?
I'm pretty sure that's the idea. Well, I mean, who else is going to do it, though, right? Like, your Sven's not at the point where he's going to buy, like, a blink or anything. It's literally just Copy, or maybe Fly on the Shadow Demon, but I think Fly is much better off holding Disruption for saves. So, yeah, I mean, all the weight is on Copy's shoulders, I think, to start a good fight. Or just maybe hope for BetBoom to come to you at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they'll have to dig into the high ground, right? All outer towers cleared out. Well, mid being cleared out next. Shouldn't take too long for Pure to have that damage. For the side of nouns, I mean, we're still relatively early in the game, just about to approach the 20-minute mark, but high ground's already becoming a very real possibility here for the side of BetBoom. And the answers from nouns aren't clear. The team fight of BetBoom is really strong. They have this hyper buff TA. And nouns, the only way they can start fights is roll in and hope for the best, which, again, I just don't see the angle for that.
I mean, they're rolling. Poppy's rolling in. He's all right for now. Yuma has his BKB, does move in onto Miero, does take one out. Pure, meanwhile, just trying to hide in his meld. Will move back in onto Copy, deleting the Earth Spirit. But he has lost the Aegis. The first life is gone. They'll hold down Gunner for a moment with that root, and eventually Pure's going to move back in as Fly will try to save, but Fly might be going down to Boo. He'll barely survive for now, but not for long, as the traps are just slowly killing him off. And so you've got yourself a Mars, but you give away all your familiars, you lose 3 heroes. That was your BKB reveal on your Sven. Like, it's not really a good fight at all. Not for now.
No. I mean, at least you find 1 kill, but it's really not enough to compensate for all of that. Of course, still in a very happy state, and you're already just, again, digging slightly into that high ground. Kiyotaka?
Yeah, Kiyotaka moving in, finding Yuma on the high ground. Yuma, well, no BKB to play with this time, is just down. Perfect setup from Kiyotaka. And at this stage, they're just bullying now. Like, it's 22-7, 14k advantage. Not to say Nouns is out of the game yet, but my god, is it looking really tough.
That it is. I don't know. I don't know how you recover from here. A Sven in ultra farm state can be scary. Maybe you get a BKB as well for Copy somehow. I just don't see you getting the gold fast enough. I mean, he's only lacking the recipe, to be fair, but that's still like 1.2, 1.3k gold away. And you're stuck in your high ground already 21, 22 minutes in. And there's still no answer for Pure. Like, he just rips everything to shreds. He has his own BKB. He has an Eagle Song already up. Like, this TA is just massive. Another free game for Pure, and this time around, they play it safe on the side of BetBoom. They don't all-in commit for the racks, but they are translating this early set of wins into very tangible ways of just winning, right? Like, this is just winning the bot racks, winning bot tier 3. Now it's forced to try to take a risk outside with a smoke. See if they find something.
We shall. Gan is out. I mean, they're gonna scan out Miero on the triangle, but he's not alone. In fact, Miero looks like he's ready to set up. Nouns, I don't see how they're gonna make their entrance into this fight. In fact, now they're the ones retreating. BetBoom look like they want to try and force it. They do indeed just leave. We've got no way to get to the high ground of the triangle. There's just no way to force a fight on our terms, so instead it's back to the high ground, but Pure's already going to find one lane of barracks. At least the range barracks is down, and the melee barracks not going to be lasting too long either. It's just, it goes for free.
Yeah, you gotta love Bloodlust Alacrity, huh? It's, what, 2 days?
Yeah.
Did we see it in day 1 as well, Mike? Is it 3 days?
We did.
4 days of it? Every day. So you're telling me we've had a pattern. Every day we've had this hyper buff carry thing, and we've had at least 1 game and 1 series go 60 minutes plus. Fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it might have something to do with the other, John, but it certainly is very strong. Like, just this Solar Crest buff plus Alacrity Bloodlust, it's pretty ridiculous how much it's providing. And you have the added bonus of Solar Crest being pretty defensive as well with that barrier. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of value right now. Oh. Don't forget you get drums and stuff as well, so even more coming in with the auras. Like, it's very hard to deal with. Yes,
Mikey, what if we added Warlock in that mix? Upheaval, attack speed. Whoa.
Oh, well, I think you're stretching it now, John. Maybe not too necessary.
This might be unnecessary. And then let's just smoke from Nouns.
They do get the dust. Barely landing. Kiyotaka forced the BKB, but can't get away. In fact, he did not BKB. That was the spin. He does not have a BKB. So very nice kill into Kiyotaka.
All right, not necessary whatsoever. They still have some vision from the familiars, but
Blessings.
nah.
Gunner's trying to chase, but there's not really much of a chase to happen here. Lelis is still having a gander. You do have Yuma around with God Strength still going for a little bit longer, but won't make too much of a difference. Roshan about a minute 15 seconds away from respawning now, and keep in mind with the innate ability of Pure, BetBoom know exactly when it's going to spawn every single time. So it's one thing for nouns. Like, I don't think you can afford to allow Roshan to go for free again, especially considering they are going to find a Roshan banner with that Aegis. But then again, I kind of question how you're even going to start a fight in the Roshan pit.
I think it's got to be this idea that they had when they go for the smoke. Just look for an isolated hero first. So you kind of want to go maybe a minute early, maybe 30 seconds early before the Roche timer starts to approach its actual time. You know, when we start to see the yellow, which it's a little bit too late for, but you just hunt for a pick-off. Hunt for a pick-off, hope that's enough. Try to retake map control, hunt for a pick-off again. And 2 or 3 times after, you're kind of in a happy state. Maybe just 2 times if you find a core back-to-back. Like, that gets really, really spicy for BetBoom to bleed that much net worth back, but just hasn't happened beyond Kiyotaka. And that Roche is not too far off now. Side of nouns are setting up nicely up top, though. So they are in position to try to contest a little bit earlier here, if they so wish.
Here we go. Nouns will surround the Roshan pit, but BetBoom, they are coming. Roshan not beginning quite yet. BetBoom having a look towards the eastern side of that top lane. Heading back west now, back towards the pit they'll go. Sunstrike showing that nobody's taking Roshan yet. They will kind of reveal their position by hitting Fly's courier. So the smoke's a little bit awkward. Miero's just going to take the Watcher for himself while he's at it. BetBoom not looking too frightened whatsoever. They just want to find a quick pick-off before the fight really starts. But instead, they might just start Roshan. Now another smoke from Nouns. Wrapping back around the top lane, towards the top side of the top lane, towards the Twin Gates. So fighting around the outpost, perhaps. There is vision here by BetBoom, though. So as soon as that smoke breaks, someone could get deleted. Copy, he's going to roll in. They are going to find Kataomi. The Ogre is already gone, but Miero, he's found a 3-man arena. Still Miero kind of by himself right now. Needs some help as Pure's busy taking down Copy. The Mars, oh, he actually just TP's out. Miero just TP's in his arena and he's fine. Lela, Lela's just disappears. And there goes Gunner. Triple kill for Pure.
Jeez. That did not look like a Visage. That really didn't.
Nope. No, sir.
I mean, now once again had some. They had a right idea. They had a right plan to try to sneak around. Just, you don't get the declump like this from BetBoom. You know they're all going to be gathered around Roche. You don't have a good angle. It's out, like you mentioned, they had a vision here from inside of BetBoom as well. And there goes the Aegis now for Pure, along with Banner ready for the high ground siege. I think nouns for this high ground defense have to play it very sneaky, right? Like, you get a good roll kickback. That's your best hope as nouns.
Fly gonna go down now as well. Yuma's actually just cut everyone off and just going straight for the creep skip. He actually ran right past Kiyotaka, but it seems like neither one actually saw each other. I bet BetBoom. Doesn't really matter where the Sven is, they want the mid-racks. Roshan banner down. Aegis up on Pure. Even without the Aegis, I don't think they can really deal with him right now anyway. And of course, the mid-tier 3 tower is going to melt very, very quickly. Yeah, Yuma's not even there. Like, Yuma's just farming towards his AC right now. He does have buyback ult if he wants to force a fight, but maybe just doesn't feel like there's actually a chance without having at least the AC to not get one shot.
Yeah, I respect that. The physical output's just a little bit too much right now. From Pure, just do what you can to try to mitigate these racks as they're going to fall. You don't have a good way of killing Pure twice. I don't know if you can't really afford to give out mega creeps, but There's just no solution
down.
presenting itself. Oh,
Beautiful setup here from Miero. He found 3 targets with that arena. Yuma's forced to BKB and run. This is not really how he wants to commit that BKB, but he has no choice in the matter. They're going to lose Fly to boot. Fly does have buyback, but now no BKB on your step for another 80 seconds, which means it's almost guaranteed megas. Gunner. Oh boy, Gunner's gone. That was 3 hits from Pure, I do believe. Poppy's jumping in. Pure won't be able to take him out. Instead looks towards Yuma, but Yuma's got no BKB. He's got no way to force this fight. And GG is called from Nouns. They've seen enough. BetBoom